Well, good morning. Sun is just coming up. It's very wet. This. I'm hardly started yet. Everything is like this, look. See all the water on it? Everything is very wet. That's not going to stop me. It's only water. But this camera isn't waterproof. So, till I get atop the hills, maybe until I get to my camp, there might not be any more video until I get there. But it's a gorgeous morning out. It's going to be nice out today. So here I am, on the move. I think we'll have a good day. First moose sighting. Hello, Moosey. I thought that with this time of morning, I might catch them just lazing around like that. My glasses are fogging up on me, it's hard to see her. But she's there. Let's see if I can have a look at her. There she is. There he is. It's a bull. Hello, Moosey. Good morning. And you know what they say, where there's one, there's more. I don't say he's alone. It's like it's about, oh, he's getting up to go. Probably hears me talking. I'll keep an eye out. Maybe see some more. Maybe. There. There's a cow. Let's go with the bull. It's two. Oh, I see the third one. That's number 3. Stick wasn't in the way. Number 3 right there. I think there's a 4th one there by that tree. Yep, that's number 4. Holy crap, there's a lot of moose here this morning. That is highly unexpected. That's 4. Wow. I did not expect to see 4. Certainly not this quick. Friggin' glasses keeps fogging up on me. I wish these wouldn't fog up so much. I can get a move on now. They're starting to take off. Can you see him going? Oh, he just went down behind the hill. Another one going up over the top of the hill. Yeah, they hears me now talking, see? Well, that was definitely exciting. 4 moose so far. I may see more when I get up over the hill. I tried to do something about my glasses. They're fogging up. It's making it really hard to see anything. Yeah. Well, I'm about halfway there. See, the sun is still rising behind me. But if you look at me, I am soaked. It's all wet. Even down in my boots. It's like water sloshing around. It ran down my legs, in through the tops of my gaiters, down into my boots. I could feel it running down my heel, the back of my leg and my heel as I was walking. Haven't seen any more moose. I haven't noticed any more moose. Yeah, I'm going to get right to my camp, start a little fire, get out of this wet clothes and dry it out a bit. That's my plan. There should be enough wood inside my camp to get my fire well established so I can dry out my pants and boots. Hopefully. I might grab a couple of pieces on my way in anyway, just to have them. Yeah, I'll get back with you when I get there. Oops. He went down along there and across that marsh. I didn't get him on video though. That's where he went. Sun is starting to come out now. That's a good sign. But no wind at all, and I'm on top of a mountain and the mosquitoes are bad up here, so can't wait to get to my camp, light a little fire. That'll take care of them and it'll dry me out. I am so wet, it's not even funny. Yep, so keep moving. Already on here, almost. Check out the firewood situation. Maybe grab a couple of pieces before I strips everything off. Can't stop moving for a minute. The flies are eating me alive. Oh, perfectly dry. Excellent. I got a little bit of wood there. More. Better. Alrighty, just gonna grab a couple of long pieces and drag them there by the door. Don't worry about cutting them up just yet. I got enough here to get my fire going pretty good for now. Three of those. Now that 3 of those cut up, should give me enough firewood to dry out mostly. My pants is the biggest thing in my boots. I think I'm going to hang them up on this and dry out. First things first, gotta get a fire. Nothing fancy. I got another one of these little bricks that I used last time. Light it up. And I got a load of this punk wood here that I've dried out. Kept inside so it stayed dry. So this will be my tinder. And this will burn up really good. Doesn't leave much coals for cooking. But I'm not even worried about that just yet. And then there was fire. Now, now I have to look for something different to put on my feet. I don't think I'll bring my heavy socks that I usually do. Nope. So, my sit pad that I might cut my sit pad in half and make a couple of little shoes out of that to put on my feet. A little bit wet. This is my pants. Just did just as much out of the other leg. Now, let's get these tied on my feet. They're like little Roman sandals. Well, now I gotta tend to the fire again. It's starting to burn down. And I'm gonna hang my boots up over it because I want them to dry out too. And my socks. Gotta get all the major stuff done. They shouldn't be too long drying like that actually. There's a lot of heat pumping right up through the pants. I gotta keep an eye on them that they don't catch on fire. Walking out of here with no pants would be nice. Have to throw them in the water. That'd be fabulous, what? Where's your pants? Burnt them? Yeah. I put my boots like this because there's still a lot of water in them. So that'll help it drain out a bit before I hang them. I am going to have to hang them to dry, I think. Get some more heat pumping up around them to dry them out a bit. But yeah, my pants should dry in no time there. You can see the legs are all puffed out. That's from the heat going up in them. And a lot of that is steam you see is coming from them. It's not smoke. The ends are already starting to dry out, though. Look. Nice. Yeah, so that little clothes hanging line turned out to be a really good idea. And what I'm going to do now, while I'm waiting on that, is I'm going to cut a few pieces of this wood and just keep adding them to it to keep that fire going, keep that heat coming up on my clothes, dry it out that much quicker. So that's all I'm going to be doing for the next few minutes or so. It's probably going to be a little while drying my stuff out. So until that's done, I'm just sitting here. Morning sounds in the forest. Even got a helicopter in the background. How good is that? My pants are almost completely dry. I'll be able to put them back on soon. My boots are going to take considerably longer. But I got these snazzy sandals to wear. They're really going at it out there. Funny how I just said that, shut off the camera, stood up, and he pitched right in front of the door. Literally. I could have hit him with a stick. I could have bonked him on the head with my saw. He was that close. I didn't even get the wood for my fire yet. I just stood up to get it, and he landed right in front of me. I don't know if you can see it, but there's steam coming out of my boots. By the time I goes to leave today, everything will be dry. It's supposed to warm up and stay nice all day. The sun is already shining, it's a little bit of a cold breeze, so it's nice. There's no flies in here because I lit the fire right away. My stuff is drying out really well. I couldn't ask for any better than that. Like I said, I can't put my boots much closer because they'll melt. Already when I had them beside the fire, I could smell the rubber. So it's a surefire sign that you need to move them away a little bit, because that's called they're burning. Got a little spider visitor. Spider or an ant? No, it's a spider. Oh, guys. Fire's burning rather nicely. Nice bit of coals going there. Holy crap. That's it. I'm just going to keep adding a stick or two to that at a time. Get the rest of my stuff dried out. My boots, for sure. That's what's grounding me here, for sure. I can even go without socks, although my socks will be good and dry by the time my boots are. But I need my boots. Should have packed a pair of sandals or something with me. I'll remember that next time I go early in the morning. I'll throw a pair of sandals in my backpack. And some extra socks. I used to have it all last year. I had it and I never used it, see? I never went this far last year, not when it was very early in the morning like this. Most of my last year's excursions didn't take place until after 7, sometimes 8 o'clock. I left at 5:30 this morning. Makes quite a bit of difference when there's a little bit of water around. By 7 o'clock, it's dried up, the sun is up, the wind is blowing. In my camp here, everything is bone dry. I'm really glad with the way this has turned out. It's held up extremely well. The absolute biggest thing now is going to be how it holds up over the winter. That's what I'm extremely curious to see. Frogs are so loud. You know, when I was younger, I don't ever remember hearing frogs around like that. Not that many of them. Not that loud. I don't know if I'm just noticing them more now, or they weren't there. You know, I've just been sitting around cutting up these pieces of logs. I've got this here. Still got one more to cut up, but my pants should be pretty well dry now. I'll be able to move my boots over and my socks a little bit more. Get them drying out a bit better. Well now, pants are dry. A little bit damp on these pockets. The pockets are really heavy. But it's just damp. It's not wet. The rest of the pants are just like they came out of the dryer. Can't ask for any better than that. Move my boots and that over. Hopefully now they'll dry out just as good. Like I said, I'm just gonna sit here while I'm waiting and tend the fire. I'm really warm sitting next to it. I might stand up outside for a few minutes just to cool down a little bit. My keys are dry. Had to dry those. Didn't have to dry those. Smoky. Yeah, there's tons of heat coming up on my boots here. These gaiters are, I'm not as concerned about the gaiters as I am everything else. Yeah, I'm just gonna, ooh. So I brought another container with me. It's empty. This one. And what I'm gonna do with this one is I'm gonna fill it with water and keep it on hand here for a fire extinguisher. That way I don't need to worry about running back and forth to get water to put out the fire. And I will have it here just in case. Because you never know. Anything could happen. What if I had to douse my pants? This is empty. I'd have to take them and run to the water with them. Possibly hurt my feet. Trip up. Because I have no shoes on. So, fire extinguisher. Not a bad idea, especially for something that's a permanent camp. I got a marker with me too, so I'm going to mark this as not drinking water. And I'm going to mark my other bottle for drinking water. That way then, if anybody else happens to come across it, hopefully they'll read it and not dump out my drinking water to put out a fire. Sounds like a decent plan to me. Hopefully it sounds like a decent plan to a lot of you guys. Yep, still got another little wall waiting on my boots. So I think I'm going to make a cup of tea. Sit back and have that. Poke at this fire for a bit. And keep it burning good. I got it burning real good now. Very established. I have no trouble burning anything in that there now. Look. I just went outside there for a second just to see what it's like, and everything is all still really wet, so once I get all dried out, I'm going to put my gaiters back on, I think, just to be safe. I can always haul them off and let them dry out a bit again, but I don't want to have to strip off again and dry out. So yeah, that's my plan. Tea time now. All the essentials. Now you know what I'm wondering. I bring my hammock. I'm wondering if it'll set up right over that there. From that tree to that tree. It certainly looks big enough. The height is the biggest thing. That's my biggest factor. I'm gonna try it and see how it works. Hammock. Now, this goes a long way to improving my wait time for my boots to dry. Because now, I can put a couple of these on. And now I can just sit down and relax in my hammock. Let's try it out. Whoops. Oh God, sure. I didn't even sleep here. No sweat. Oh, I'm glad I bring this thing. This thing is so comfortable. And it fits in my shelter perfect. Like, I could sleep in this, no problem. No problem at all. My fire. Yeah, with my blanket, my sleeping pad, I could even stay here tonight. I don't think I am though. Yeah, I'm just gonna lay back and relax now and let my boots dry out a bit more. Well now, in knowing that this hammock fits here so perfectly, I might have to make this hammock a permanent addition now to my backpack. Unless I bring my tent someday. My tent will fit on the platform that I built underneath this hammock. That being said, I can just sleep in my hammock. I'd have to put a couple of drip lines on the ends just to make sure that the water doesn't come in if it does happen to rain. But other than that, I wouldn't have a care in the world up here sleeping on this thing. Fire's still going really good. My boots and socks are still steaming. Socks are probably dry now. I'm gonna wait for my boots. I got a steak there to cook later. And I think I'm just gonna have the steak. I got some snacks there. I'm gonna have for my dinner. I think I just heard something big. It might have been the frogs. They're not big. I'm glad I saw those moose this morning. That was a very pleasant surprise. There was 4 of them. I wasn't expecting to see 4. I was expecting to see maybe 2. A cow, a bull, and maybe a calf. 3. I didn't expect to see 2 bulls and 2 cows. Yeah, just been adding a couple of little nails. Put a nail up here from our grill. That's fine hanging there. It's not directly over my bed or anything, so it's fine. Put a nail in for this stuff and this. See, that hangs there really well now. Hook that on there like that. I still got my other stuff hung there. There is, however, a nice pool of water there. And I'm worried if I dump it back, is it going to come out on my hammock? So I'm going to get rid of that. Have a bit of an idea on how to do it. Oh, wait now. Have a better idea. I'm going to collect it in my container if I can. And that'll save me from a trip to the pond. Let's see how this goes. If I get back in, I'm soaking wet, you knows what happened. Well, that actually worked out good. I got my container half full anyway. That's enough for just now. I'll fill it the rest of the ways up later on. Right now I'm going to tie this piece up somehow so that it's not hung down like that and collecting water again. I don't want it to collect water. It's a bad thing. Okay, so I fixed the tarp. I added in a central line here, look. That holds it up. There shouldn't be any more water collecting there at all. My boots are still damp. It's been 2 or 3 hours that I've got them on over the fire. I've turned them upside down now, look. That seems to be drying them out a bit quicker. I just added some more wood. Soon going to be dinner time. Just going to have a snack for dinner, I think. I got some bars and some apples. Apple snacks and that there that I made. I might just have that. I didn't think I was going to use up all that wood, but I am using up all that wood, so I'm going to make a wood horse. And then I'm just going to collect some wood today. If I get a substantial pile of wood there. Because I want to keep this stocked with wood in here. I don't want to have to come up and look for wood. Like this morning, whoa, this morning wasn't so bad. Oh, falling over. This morning wasn't so bad. There was a couple of pieces there I grabbed really quickly. But I still had some dry wood in here. And that's what I'm going for. I want to keep a stockpile of dry wood in my shelter. So that when I do come up, I can start a fire. Like I did today. Without any problems whatsoever. And still collect a bit of wood and keep it going with the wood that's wet or damp or whatever. which I did today with no problem at all, because I had that little stockpile of wood. Now in drying out my boots, I'm using up not only my stockpile but the wood that I gathered today, which is fine. I only took down 3 dead trees. That's nothing for wood, really. Not here, it's not. The wood burns up pretty quick. It's not hardwood, it's all pine. Maybe some spruce. I haven't found any hardwood trees up here. No maple, no birch, no nothing. So yeah, I will make a little wood horse in a little bit, and then I'll gather up some wood. Like I said, I'm not much of a video today. Like it's not a lot of building or anything like that. I do, however, I want to start practicing some of my skills, like using the fire steel instead of the lighter, getting my kindling in that, and making kindling in that out of what's around here, see what's good and what's not. Just because it's different almost everywhere you go. Like I'm going to try splitting down some of this stuff and striking a steel to it. I doubt it's going to go up. I may be able to like fluff some of it with my knife. I'll try that. But it makes for good kindling because you can get little tiny pieces out of it. It's all split all the way down. And it burns really fast. Like it'll catch on fire fast and it'll burn for a little while. Like it don't burn up fast, but it burns, it catches on fire fast. So yeah, I'm going to try a few things like that in my upcoming videos. I don't know if I'm going to do any today. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to be as wet as what I was when I got here. But hey, I'm still having fun. I don't mind sitting around. I still cut up a bit of wood, sitting by the fire. Toasty warm. Toasty warm from the fire. Alright, time for snacks. I just stoked up the fire a bit again. See? I'll let that burn down now. I'm going to check my boots and see how they're doing. I've lowered them another little bit while I flip them upside down. Hopefully that helps make a difference on them. It'd be nice to get my boots on and get doing a couple of little things around that I want to do. But right now, it's getting really close to dinner time. I'm getting hungry. So I have, what do I have? I have apple snacks. I have Pepsi. And this is a Pepsi Retro. Well, it's retro. It's rollback. Retro, whatever you want to call it. Because it's made with the original Pepsi recipe. Real sugar. None of this fructose and sucrose and whatever else. And I have a couple of granola bars. So that's dinner. Basically just tie me over. Well, that was good. Certainly hit the spot. I bring up my grill, but I don't even think I'm going to use it today. I may if I boil another pot of water and put it on just to keep it leveler. Other than that, I think I'm gonna cook my steak on the stick again because that comes out really well like that. I like the way it tastes. I like just being able to stick it in the ground and then cut the pieces off and eat them. But that's for later. Like I said, I just ate. It's a little bit after 11 maybe. So it's not quite dinner time, but I was hungry. That's where I'm up so early, see? Just ducking in from the smoke. Not too often I gotta do that down on this end, ducking out of the smoke. Yep, first project of the day, a wood horse and some wood collection. I can feel the heat from the fire though from here. It's not a big fire, by no means. Well, this has been exciting. Ever watch paint dry? I'm watching boots dry. Takes even longer. Oh my, this is. It's still nice to get up here, even if it is just to watch my stuff dry out. What do you do? Alrighty, I've made myself a bit of a decision here now. It's going for like 1 o'clock. My boots are still over the fire, as you can see. So, whether they're wet, damp, or whatever right now, I'm going to put them on and do a couple of little things around. I don't just want to lay here the entire day like I've been doing thus far. Stretched out in the hammock. It's nice to stretch out in the hammock and relax. Just get up and tend the fire every now and again. However, there's still a couple of little things I want to do. I do want to stockpile some of my firewood, which is almost gone now. And I want to make this the wood horse, the sawhorse, for cutting some of the wood, just to make it a little bit easier on myself while I'm doing it. They actually don't seem too bad. The only really bad thing is my socks are bone dry. They're really dry. It's like a new pair of socks. And I'm going to put them in a wet boot. My boots smell like popcorn for some reason. And I'm ready to go. I just gotta throw another log or two on there so that that can burn while I'm doing my stuff. I'm using a jam knot to cinch it on. See that little grommet up there? He's not tied on. I'm going to use this piece of rope and just tie that down. Alrighty, it's tied on. Not as tight as I would have liked, but it's tied on. Now I got a piece of wood there to try on my new wood horse. So let's see how that works out. Okay, so in just a few minutes, say half an hour or so, about a half an hour, I was able to gather some sticks, and this is what I got so far. So it was much easier cutting it on their thing out there than it is trying to cut it in here. Now I'm warm from doing that, so I'm going to sit down for a little bit and listen to the frogs and cool off. Oh. Well now, my fire is burned down sufficiently enough that it's a whole lot of hot coals. And I'm getting hungry, so time to put that steak on. Same as before, I'm going to put it on the stick. And there we go. Once again, is just a little salt and pepper for seasoning. That's enough. I enjoys it with just that on it. Didn't go on quite as pretty as the pork chop that I had on there, but it'll cook just as good. Almost done. Know what that means? Almost done to fill my belly. I'm making a cup of tea with the pot, although it looks like I gotta move it because there's flames coming out around the handles. Look at that. There we go, that's better. I'm gonna make a cup of tea, have my steak. I was debating on whether or not to put on the chili, and I got dehydrated chili and dehydrated spaghetti with me, but I'm gonna save that, have that on another day. That steak will be lots there now. I'm letting the fire die. I'm not putting anything else in it. I'll just put a couple of little tiny sticks in there. Build up a bit of flame, get my water boiling rather quick. I can hear it now. That's no good at all. Better if I sit down here, yeah? Yeah. Some water left in there. I'll use to rinse out my cup and that when I'm done. Look at that fine hunk of meat. Oh, this is gonna be good. It's hot. It's very hot. Very tasty. Just a bunch of hot coals. That's the perfect way to have it for to roast your marshmallows on. Especially where it's in here and there's no ashes blowing around. Very little ashes blowing around. Oh no! My tea tried to get away. Need my knife again. It's the right way to do it. From everything I've ever learned and everywhere I've ever been, that's the proper way to clean a knife when you're out in the woods. Oh, this tea is very hot. Very hot. I may have to wait a little bit before I drink this. In my other camp I had a really piece of gnarly looking wood. It was just a little branch, but it looked really interesting, so I bring it home and I varnished it and I put it up on the shelf. But she liked it and she wanted me to paint it red, and I didn't want to, I just varnished it. But she asked me to get her another one, so I did. Let me show you what I got her. It's this. It almost looks like a gnarled up hand. Thumb, fingers. Now I'm going to varnish this up for her and put a coat of paint on it maybe. I may just varnish it up and leave it varnished. I'll see. Sat here watching the last little bits of the fire burn out. It's one or two little pieces that were left in there of the wood. And I'm looking at the pieces that I got laying around here, and I'm gonna go out on the back of the shelter again and cut off another big piece of that really splintery, punky wood like I got over there already. And I'm going to bring it in and lay it in here as well, because that started my fire for me today. It really did. Hands down, that was the best kindling I could have ever hoped for. Okay, I went out and got a couple of pieces. Got it all right here. Got it all right here. That's the punky stuff there. Some smaller stuff, my regular wood. I took all the stuff from that end and I just added it to my pile. There's actually 2 piles there, so it's twice as much wood as what it looks like. There's a pile in front, a pile in back, about the same height. Right now I got a bit of water on there boiling. I'm gonna use that and rinse out my cup in it. And get my cup in there put away now. Have that much done. Just gonna take my time at it. Not in a rush. Well, here's something a little bit interesting. I managed to scoop up a frog's egg that's empty. See if I can get a good view of it. You see it there? There's a reflection, there's only one. But there's no little frog in it. It's just an empty casing. Too often you see that around. Ooh, bigger, smaller. Not too often you see that around. But yeah, something a little bit interesting. Well, I'm all packed up. I've gotten everything picked up and all things where they're supposed to be. So I think I'm gonna call it a day and head on out for today. It was still a good day, even though I was soaking wet for half of it. But it's I'd like to say don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and all your comments are welcome. And most of all, thanks for watching. I appreciate all the views. Have a great day, everybody. I certainly did. Oh, that was interesting. I just met a fellow traveler. His name is Josh. He's headed up the mountain. There he is there. And that's the absolute last thing I expected to see was another person hiking through these trails. Nice, so we had a little chat. His dad knew my dad, so that's interesting. Yeah. He saw a couple of moose on his way here too.